All right, welcome back. This is episode 2 of converting the Freewing Cougar to a turbine. Last video we left off, we bonded on these tabs here. We're going to pop this off real quick. The JB well's dried and we're going to stick the rivets in there. Okay, that stuff just pops right off. All right, so drill a number 40 hole or a 3/32, whatever you got. They drill 4 of them. Okay. And then I got some supplied rivets. We shove in here. Kind of make sure they're seated pretty good. That looks good. They're sticking out there just a touch long, so trim them down just a little bit. And I use this, it's a Nipex plier. The jaws move parallel. It works really good. Or you can use a hammer and a punch. There we go. That ain't going nowhere. All right, we'll trim them off. Squeeze them up. There we go. All right, so, I said these are long and everything, so I'm just gonna trim them off approximately 1/2 inch. We can always trim it a little bit more later if we have to. Okay. All right, so the pipe is pretty much ready to fit when we get to that step. Last night we, on the last video, we cut this out. It went pretty good. One thing I forgot to mention is, I held it at like a degree or two. You want to be careful if you overcompensate and hold it like your saw at 10, 20 degrees and all that, the tank's not really going to fit. It's going to be too tight, okay? So just a couple degrees is all you need, okay? Or else you're going to have some interference here when you go to start fitting the tank. All right, so the job on this video is we're going to try to get this tank to fit in there in its appropriate location, okay? So what I did here is I just put a Sharpie mark right in the middle of the V, okay? And the goal is to get this line directly in line with that spar there, okay? Let me show you on the model here some key dimensions. I mean, it's a little tricky and you got to be careful. You don't want to go cut it into the surface here, okay? Because you go right up to it. That's when the tank is located. And the tank's going to need, or the model's going to need a little bit of finessing right there, not a whole lot. And then a little bit of skeleton right there, not a whole lot. If you get the tank too far aft, what's gonna happen is you only got, you know, just a 1/4 inch of clearance between these servos and the foam here. So this is how the tank fits right there. So if you get the tank too far aft, you're not going to have enough meat here, okay? If you get the tank too high in the model, you know, and start cutting into this, it's going to make the tank closer to the top of the model. And if you look at this one over here, you're going to run out of room to run all your wires, okay? Because there's a bunch of wires that got to come through the top. All the wires coming through the top, you got your aileron, basically every wire of the model, except the only wires coming in on the bottom are the inner gear doors. So you got a lot of stuff going on up here. So don't get the tank too high in the model, or you're gonna have trouble. So another thing, let's see. If you get it a little bit too far forward, it's not going to be the end of the world. But just try to line up the Sharpie line right with the spar. And this one, I spent a little bit of time with it, and you know, you can see, you know, it nestles in there really nice. Okay, so like if I reverse the carbon paper on this, and I'm going to show you when we go to bond the tank into the fuselage here. What you do is you reverse the carbon paper, and you want to see the black on the tank. So we'll do that there. And we're going to do this here. Now wherever there's black, I got really good contact. So look at all the good contact I have here, here, right there, there, and all this. So and down in here. So that's going to be the area when we go to bond the tank in it. I'm going to focus putting the Gorilla Glue on, because like in this area right there, it's not touching too good. So I'm not going to, you know, get too concerned about that. But that's what you kind of want to see when the tank is fitted. So we're going to go ahead. This tank belongs here, even though they're all the same. So this is the tank we're going to work with tonight. I got the, it's easier if you keep the fittings out of the tank until you're done fitting it. It's just in the way, and it tears the carbon paper all the time. So what we're going to do first is, this is exactly how we cut it in the last video. So this all needs to go away right here. So it's like a separate part. So I'm just going to cut all this out here. And they don't really have this bonded on too well here, so you can break it like that. Get rid of that. And then we got a little bit of cutting to do up front before we start. So this gets cut down. This can all go away here, so we're going to cut that down. This gets cut even with that foam there. Flip it over. So, you know, this is a good step to really be taking your time and trying to do the best possible job you can. I really don't want to rush this one. This isn't my model. This is a customer's model, and I don't want to butcher it. So basically, we are ready to start fitting the tank. Okay. Oh, one thing we got to do is I'm going to include a template here. That's going to give us like a rough guideline, okay? So this surface right here is going to be about a 1/4 inch away from the forward face of the spar. So I gotta trim a little bit more of that. That goes way. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're just going to lay this in here. Try to center it up as best you can. And once again, this isn't gospel. This is, it gets you in the ballpark. So we're going to put a Sharpie line. Right like that. Right like that. Perfect. So that's the general guideline. So once again, when I start cutting, you don't want to be cutting into this surface right here, this, you know, right there. Don't do that, because the tank is going to be located up and down, and then we're going to, you know, use the line on the tank 4.5 in line with that spar. So a lot of this is going to go away here, and a bunch of this is going to go away here. All right, so we're going to start. I use two tools here, a Dremel drum sander, and then I'm going to include a link to these things. I buy these off of Amazon. They're meant for wood carving, and they work fantastic for chewing up this foam. So let's get it going here. Just a little bit into here. Alright, so I never really kept count of how many times you gotta go in and out with this thing, but it's quite a few on this model. So as you see, oh, and then another thing, another good guide is when you're at the right spot up and down is it's just like that, okay? You know, I'm just forward of this panel line here, and you know, it's got just a little bit of clearance. And what happens is, you know, that's what it's going to look like. We're not going to worry about the bottom of the model until we get the tank bonded in, because if the tank's not seated really nice and you start to fit the bottom of the model, things kind of get cattywampus on you here. So what we're going to do is on this model here, we're going to get the tank, fit it, we're going to bond it in, and then we're going to go ahead and worry about the bottom of the model. So once again, I basically just look and see where the black marks are going to be. So you can see them right there. Right there. We got some right there. So I'm being a little bit of aggressive right now because I know this stuff has to go away, and bore you guys to death. So as you can see, is with the lines to the spar, I got a good 3/4 of an inch that I got to go forward. And it's a little bit tricky because you got to go forward and you got to go down at the same time. So you just got to do the best you can. Really, if you're not in a big hurry, I think it's kind of relaxing doing all this foam work. And then another thing while you're doing this, you always want to try to get the tank to stay on the center line of the model. So, you know, if you just eyeball down, just try to keep this point here right in the middle when you're doing your little jiggle thing there. So we're starting to see lots of black. That's a good thing because that you know that your contours pretty much in line with your tank. So I think the guy doing this the first time, you know, it should take, you know, maybe 100 times doing this. You know, so we're making progress. We're probably have a little bit more than 3/8 there on our lines, so we'll get in there. See, we're getting pretty close there because I'm seeing them about a 1/4 inch there. You know, once again, don't want to touch that. How many minutes more? Looking good. So you can see from these lines here, we're you know, maybe another 3/16 to a 1/4 forward. So just take your time and get it right. Now, if I knew how to edit videos, I'd have some music going on, but I just hit the download button and that's it. As you can see, we're getting really close down there, so we're just about at the right height. We got to go just a little bit further forward. And you know, the tank, I mean, it's nesting in there pretty nicely. So I think a few more times, and then we'll try to smooth everything up a little bit. So let's take the straight edge across the top. We'll see how we're doing here. Okay, so we got to go down just a little bit more, which that's fine. And I'd say another 1/16 of an inch or so further forward, and we should have it. So, I mean, we're like very, very close there. And the tank sits pretty nice. So we're going to try to smooth it up a little bit. And what I like to do, I'm not prepared. Let's take it's a hard piece of foam with some 40 grit wrapped around it. Just smooth it up a little bit. So see how this side's a little jaggedy over there? So what we'll do there, we're just going to take a knife and we're just going to clean that up. There. then looking at this model here, we need to get the wires out of for the inner gear doors. I take this rasp here, and we're going to hold it at an angle right there, and we're going to shoot for about 1/4 to 5/16 right there. Sandpaper. All right, let's see how we're doing. So I'm liking that. I'm liking these marks here. As far as the height. I mean, we're very, very close. Let's see how it looks when we flip the model over. You know, it's coming along. I'm checking down the inlet, looking good down there. The only thing I like to do, I like to go just a little bit further down, but you guys got the gist of what's going on. I mean, the tank is solid. We'll use another tank here, and we'll put some carbon paper around it. This tank's clean. So I'll reverse the carbon paper, and we can tell how good of a job we've been doing. So I want to see a fair amount of black, which, you know, I'm doing really good there. This all looks really good here. So, you know, looks good there, good there. So when we go to bond the tank in, you know, those are the spots I'm going to be looking for. Okay, so the next video, we're going to be, I'm going to tweak this thing a little bit. We're going to be putting in the engine mounts. We're going to be kind of locating them, bonding them in, and we got to remove some foam back here since it's a double wall pipe. You got to have some air moving around the bell mouth. And if you look at the pipe right now, I mean, it's a pretty tight fit. So I like to see, you know, the pipe's going to be somewhere about there. So I like to see about 3/16 of an inch gap all the way around, so the air flows around the bell mouth and captures this right here, because that's the whole key. If you don't have air moving around the bell mouth, the double wall pipe's not going to do you any good. All right, so that's about it for this video. We'll look for you in about 24 hours for the next one. Thanks for watching.